Hello and welcome to Hatchling Reviews, where I review movies, TVs, video games, etc, etc, etc. I was meant to have done this yesterday, but my mind was all over the place after seeing this movie, so I was like, yeah, I'm going to hold off for a day and then do it in my mind, sort of correcting exactly my thoughts. So the movie I got to see yesterday was Spider-Man No Way Home, which came out here in the UK on the 15th, and my god, this movie is amazing. It From start to finish, this movie is fucking incredible. You get the first half hour dealing with the aftermath of Far From Home before it delves fully into the multiverse angle, and none of it is crap. Like, even with the stuff that's just dealing with the aftermath of Far From Home, it's so enjoyable to watch. But what you're here for is the multiverse angle, which is obviously the rest of the movie, which is just incredible. The cinematography is amazing. The soundtrack is great. The acting is great. Tom Holland is probably his best performance as Spider-Man. Willem Dafoe, as always, great as the Green Goblin. Even better in this movie, I think. Alfred Molina pulls out all the cards for Dr. Octopus. Jamie Foxx has actually redeemed himself as a lecturer in my eyes after that god-awful Amazing Spider-Man 2. Ugh. He's literally redeemed himself in this movie. And even though some of the other characters that I will not mention, they are phenomenal. The supporting cast, obviously Ned and MJ, do a great job in this movie of bringing the heart and the comedy, because this movie is very funny. Marissa Tomei as Aunt May is always a joy to watch, and especially in this movie. And it's great to see J.K. Simmons back again. It's weird because this movie knows when to make you laugh, make you cry, because I may have cried at one point. It just gets sad. Makes you stand up and shout. I mean, I lost track of how many times people in my show were yelling at the screen for good reasons. It just has all the cards that you want from this movie. If you go in there with high expectations, this movie's probably going to surpass it, because I went in there with my expectations like through the roof. I was like, this is going to be like great, and came out going, this was better than great. It was amazing. Benedict Cumberbatch does a really good job again as Doctor Strange, and all his fight scenes, which obviously you saw in the trailer with the trains and whatnot, is even cooler to watch in the movie as it plays in real time rather than just jump into it. Obviously, the movie brings back a lot of characters you've seen throughout this Spider-Man trilogy. So it's cool to see them, even if they're only like in bit parts. It's really cool to see them again and see how they've changed from when they first were in it. One of the cool things I find with Green Goblin in this movie is the development of his character compared to how he was in the obviously the first Spider-Man movie. There's a lot more to this character in this movie, which is really cool to watch. And it's obviously really well acted by Willem Dafoe. And on top of that, you have some really great fight scenes with him, like really hard-hitting fight scenes. I mean, at this point, this character is fucking how old? So it's great to see these really hard-hitting fight scenes. I mean, a lot of the fights in general are really, especially for Spider-Man, to the level of extreme. Like, you've never seen him at this stage before. There's just so much emotion within this character and within this movie in general that makes these moments even better and more hard-hitting than they actually are. The action sequences are really good in this. Obviously, it takes a while before you sort of get one, but when it gives you them, it's just, the set pieces are so fucking good. The locations are really good for the fights. The people involved in the fights make the fights even better. And then the soundtrack on top of that makes it fucking even better. The final battle of the movie is just out of this world. Like, I love the final battle in Endgame, just to see all the characters from the past, obviously, movies coming together in this big fight. That was such a spectacle to watch, and I feel like this rivals it. And I'm so debating if I say this fight is better than that, just because of what's going on within this fight. So I'm really, my mind, I've got so many emotions going through. Like, is this? I don't know which one I prefer. At the moment, I'm kind of leaning more to this, just because it was obviously I just watched it, so that's fresh in my mind compared to the Endgame one. But oh, it's such a fucking hard choice, because it was such a good fight, but so was that. Oh, so many emotions right now. The story itself is really good. As I say, the first half, 20, 30 minutes, I'd say, deals with obviously the aftermath, and you get a cameo very quickly early on from someone that literally everyone might showing were going crazy at. And then once all that's through and then the whole multiverse kicks in, obviously you have this multiverse angle with Peter trying to deal with all these other villains from the past, like fucking over a decade. And that is a really fun story to watch, and it's heartbreaking at times. One major thing I will say is that this movie is one that needs to be seen before anything is spoiled. It's basically Avengers Endgame level. It needs to be seen before anyone has anything spoiled. So, I mean, I know Connor, obviously Zenify Gaming, had a moment in Endgame spoiled, and that kind of spoiled that movie for him. So this is a movie that, for these big moments, you need to see it before it gets spoiled. It's legitimately a must-see in cinema. Because I haven't been to cinema since February 2020 when I saw Sonic the Hedgehog. But this was a movie I had to go see in cinema. I needed to see this movie before anyone spoiled it. So I got the best showing I could get to and went to it. And I walked out with no regrets. No regrets at all. Sold out. The 5 showings in a row last night was sold out. And I have no regrets going to a sold out showing, because seeing this movie in a packed, sold out room is how this movie needs to be seen. It needs to be seen on the biggest screen fucking possible, and you get all the enjoyment out of it. After the ending, I'm very interested to see where they take this character now of Spider-Man. They've left it on a good note of that's going to be interesting to see how that is developed across the next batch of movies, which I believe is supposed to be like another trilogy on the way. So that'd be interesting to see how they adapt this character now into those ones. That's going to be something to look out for in the future. Special effects in the movie are really good. I mean, I watched all the movies before this just to get in the right mindset of Spider-Man, and seeing the likes of Sandman in actual good CGI is great. Obviously, they've gone CGI angle with Doc Ock's tentacles this time, but they're still cool, even if the practical versions are really cool in the original Spider-Man 2, but the CGI versions are pretty cool in this. And just the CGI in general from characters that struggled and suffered with bad digital effects, or obviously early 2000 digital effects, are vastly improved within this movie. And of course, Jamie Foxx is no longer blue, so that's always a bonus in my book. I completely forgot to say during the video, but stick around for 2 end credit scenes in this movie, because both are fucking worth you sticking around for, because they set up some very, very good stuff. My mind's drawing up blank now because I don't. Obviously, I've got so much I want to say, but they're spoiler based, so I'm not going to say them. So my mind's kind of drawing up blank. I will just say it's the best Spider-Man movie out there, and honestly, to me, it's the best MCU movie to date. And I can see why it's sold more pre-sale tickets than Endgame did, because for me, this movie is better than Endgame. It's just the inner child in me screaming with joy and sadness at times. So yeah, if I was to give this a rating, it's got to be the toppest of marks I can possibly give, which is, of course, a dragon's egg, which is my top marks. It's a must-watch recommendation from me, and it ticks every single box. I'm eventually going to try and do like a spoiler talk on this, but I kind of want to do that more as a group than as just by myself, because I want to really bounce off other people that have seen this movie. So I've got to wait for them to see it, because I only know like one other person who's seen it, and I kind of want like a whole load of people of my group to actually discuss this with, because I feel like there's going to be really great conversation moments with that. So I'm going to wait on a spoiler talk until then. I feel like I've got everything off my chest that I want to get off in a non-spoiler review. So that's that. As seen by the hint on my hat, I'm going to try and review the entire series of Hawkeye next week when that finishes, because that's great at the moment. And in terms of hatchling reviews, I'm probably After that, going to be in the new year. I'm trying to sort some stuff out, so I want to try and start this fresh in the new year. But I kind of had to do this, and I'm obviously going to have to do Hawkeye. So hopefully in the new year, I'm going to be doing these more regularly. So fingers crossed on that. And yeah, if you've seen the movie, obviously don't spoil it, but give your thoughts in the comments below. And I'll see you on the next video. If you like what you've seen, don't be afraid to throw us a little like and subscribe. That's always very appreciated over here. And well, I'll see you on the next video.